It's me. You all know me. And I all know you. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no! I'm doing a tier list. Oh my god, what have I succumbed to? I've succumbed to the trend. I'm gonna rank all the Zelda games, all the mainline Zelda games, all of them. What does it come to? Oh god, no. Oh no. Oh no, it's come to this. Hello everyone. Welcome. This is kind of meant to be a YouTube video, but your boy's too lazy to fucking record and edit. So I'm just gonna stream this and then I'm gonna export this to YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello, I'm SDS Man. I stream on Twitch. I have all sorts of videos, and today, this is a non-canon stream. I'm just doing a little bit of a short stream. I don't know how long this is gonna be. Anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, probably, of ranking, making a tier list, I suppose. Ranking, same thing. All the mainline Zelda games. From the original Legend of Zelda to Breath of the Wild. From S to F tier. So I'm going to go through each game. I'm going to kind of do it in a rough order. It's not the order it's presented here. Just kind of in a little bit of a rough order. And rank what I think are the sort of best Zelda games. I'll go through in a second what I think classifies a good Zelda game against a bad Zelda game. And for those saying, well, there are no bad Zelda games, I disagree. I think there's some Zelda games that aren't good, particularly like 2 of them. Point is I'm going to go through every single Zelda game and rank them from S to F tier. But again, what makes a good Zelda game? That's a legitimately good question. Well, for me... there's a few things I'm looking at. Number one, I'm looking at how much I enjoyed playing the game, obviously. How much I enjoyed it, and how much I liked it. That's based on different factors of, did I enjoy the, I guess, like, main chunk of the game? Did I enjoy the dungeons? Did I enjoy the open world, or the world in general, whatever it be? I guess, like, the story. Don't think that's going to have a huge effect on any of these, but you know what I mean? Did I enjoy, the game as a whole? And then I'm going to look at it from a different perspective of how important I think the game is. But I do want to say this is more of my favorite than importance. I think some of my favorite Zelda games are actually some of the least important ones. Like the ones that really haven't had a huge effect on the series are some of my favorite ones. And some of the ones that deviate from the series are also some of my favorite ones. I have played all these games. I do want to say I've played every single one of these games. Straight up though, I haven't beat every single one of these games. I think I've beaten every game here, and the only ones I haven't beaten are The Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. I haven't beaten Zelda 2. I didn't beat Spirit Tracks, and I didn't beat... That's it. Alright, I beat every other one. Yeah. Yep. I beat every other one. Four Swords Adventure, Four Swords. Yep. Okay. Yep, so those are the two. Zelda 2 and Spirit Tracks are the only 2 I have not beaten. So I'm going to go through each sort of Zelda game that I want to pick in any order. I'm going to go in rough order and rank them from S, A, B, C, D, F. Now, I guess in case you don't know, I'm sure many people already know this, but S I would consider to be sort of, top tier. This is a game that means a lot to me. It's going to be one of my favorite games of all time. And as a Zelda game, it does everything I want it to do. A tier means it's very good. It does a lot of stuff I want it to do. It's not quite perfect, not going to be in my best games of all time, but I enjoyed it. B tier means as a game, I liked it, and as a Zelda game, it was pretty good. C tier means it could have been better. It could have been better. Average game for a Zelda game, not great. Not like incredible Zelda game. But as a video game, if it's C, if I rank any video game as C, that means it's average. It's good. You know what I mean? Like I would rate, I don't know, what game, what's like the quintessential C for me? I don't know. I can't think of an example. Like Spider-Man that came out last year. That's like a C game, right? Something like that, right? And then we got like a D, which is like, where it's not very good. It did some things right, but overall as a game, whatever. But as a Zelda game, not looking very good, are you? And then we're gonna get to F tier, which is, in my opinion, means you didn't do a good job. I didn't like the game. And not only do I think it's not a great game, especially it's a bad Zelda game. There's some maybe the Zelda games I put in the F tier. I actually may not think they're F tier video games, but they're F tier Zelda games. What I mean is as what I expect in a Zelda game, or what I think makes a Zelda game good, what I like about, what I look for in a Zelda game, or how it stands as a Zelda game, which whatever that means, that's a debatable topic within itself. We don't have time for that. It's not good. I'm pretty sure all of you, I didn't have to explain what S through F meant, but I figured I would try. Just in case, or I figured I'd provide some context. So what I'm going to do, I originally was going to go through each series, but I've just changed my mind. I'm going to go from F to S. So I'm going to put every game in F tier, every game in D tier, C tier, B tier, and A tier. I may go back. I may start at C and then go, this is a D. Or I may be at A and go, this is a C. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm going to try my very best in one full swoop to put all of them. So we're going to start with, I haven't written anything down. I haven't even really thought about this. You're going to see all my thoughts and arguments come through. That's kind of the fun part of this. So let's start ranking with F. So immediately, I can only think of 2 Zelda games that are an F. Should I start with the worst one? Probably. Or one of the, I guess. I'm going to put Zelda 2 in here. So like I said, this is one of the ones I actually didn't beat. So some people may be a little upset at that. Like, you didn't beat this game. How could you put it in F tier? But what I have played of this game, I do not like. I don't think Zelda 2 is a very good game. I think it's very messy. I think it struggles from a lot of NES games struggle, where it's just too convoluted and too difficult for its own good. It isn't very fun to go back to. Never would I be like, hello, Mikey. Never would I be like, I can't wait to go back and play Legend of Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. I think it suffers from that NES sort of style game. It's just confusing where to go. It's difficult. The fights are just too hard. The game is frustratingly difficult. The progression's not really there. The dungeons aren't exciting. I mean, the music's good. And I enjoy it. I guess I think it's a bold concept. It's definitely one of the most unique Zelda games, and I'll give it that. But that's about all I'm giving it. I think it just fails on pretty much every other level, especially as a game. I think it's a bad game. As a Zelda game, I think it's even worse. I just don't think Zelda 2 is very good, and I would not really plan to go back to play it. And honestly, there's really not much to it. Like, I'm sure this game has done some stuff, but I don't think this game's really that important in the Zelda sort of in the grand scheme of the series. Like how is this important? Like, I don't know. It's not. That's the answer. But Zelda 2, whatever. And then the other F tier game I'm gonna put in here, and this is gonna surprise nobody if you know me. Wait, let me put it in here before I say it. Skyward Sword, The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword for the Wii, a much newer game, so it doesn't suffer from the same problems as Zelda 2 has. But anyone who knows me knows that The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword is perhaps my #1 most disappointing game of all time. I wouldn't say I was like over the moon excited for this game, but I was looking forward to it like I do every Zelda game. And I've never been more disappointed in the game. I know people either love or hate this game, and I'm on the hate side, man. I hate the linear aspect of the game. It feels like the game's holding my hand the entire time. But whatever. It looks bland. I think it's one of the blandest looking Zelda games and blandest feeling Zelda games. Sure, the story there is one, kind of. But I don't think it's really that as interesting as people say it is. And also, the world is very boring to explore. The dungeons feel very uninspired, except for maybe one. All the boss fights feel bland, maybe again, except for one. I do really enjoy the part when you're going kind of back in time, and you have that little like you're going through, you're in like the sail, and you're kind of reminds me of like a Wind Waker, and it's like the desert is turning into the lake, and really cool. I really enjoy that. Don't get me wrong. But so, I love how I've smashed it back on me. Ultimately, look, one of the biggest problems I have with Legend of Skyward Sword, it doesn't even have to do with anything I named, but rather the controls. I know for some people the controls work just fine, and you guys must either be lying or magic workers, because the Wii Motion Plus in Skyward Sword just does not work for me. It has never worked for me, and even when it does work, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel satisfying. It doesn't feel like I'm ever playing a chess game. The combat is atrocious with it. I think that it ruins the game. I think that the moments where like you have to fly the beetle and do all these different things with the motion control, it just feels awful. It feels like such a tacked on part of the game. And I think the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and more than the controls, like even if the controls were good, if the controls were perfect, if this was like the best controlled game ever, this still would be at best probably a D tier game. Yeah, I despise Skyward Sword. It's probably one of my least, again, most disappointing game. Not one of my least favorite games of all time. As a game, it's probably an F, maybe a D, but I still don't like it as much as a game, but I've played way worse. But as a Zelda game, yeah, it's pretty atrocious. Alright, so now we're going to D tier. I think that's pretty much it for F tier. Yeah, I don't really have much else in F tier. This is D tier, and this is what I think are games that, again, aren't atrocious, but they're not great. They're alright, I guess. They're below average. As games, they're maybe alright, but as Zelda games, they're pretty bad. They're pretty poor. Not awful, though. So looking immediately something to put in D tier, just looking through these games, I don't have one immediately off my mind. Okay, I do. I want to put Spirit Tracks in here. And again, this is the second one that I have not finished. So for those saying, oh, dude, you're ranking all the ones you haven't finished. How could you do that, dude? Like, how could you be like this? And you know, it just is, I don't, fuck off. Don't make me think. Don't make me question my logic. What are you making me do here? What are you making me do? Sorry, I'm fixing this fucking tier list. Okay, so, yeah, look, Spirit Tracks, I don't think it's a very good game. I don't think it's atrocious like Zelda 2 or Skyward Sword is, but I don't think it's amazing. I think it definitely suffers from a boring world and just a boring concept. It feels like maybe the concept is kind of cool, but I never really enjoyed using the train when I played of it. The story, I think, had potential to be really interesting, but it just, again, feels very bland, very boring, and there's really nothing to it besides that. I've never really enjoyed Spirit Tracks. I think it's always kind of been a very the overworld and just like Link with Trains. Exactly, Link with Trains. It's the gimmick. It's not a terrible gimmick, and it's not awfully executed. It's just the overworld for me is very boring. The game itself is very bland, and it's on the DS, you know, which that's just gonna give it down points, unfortunately, which is a shame. Although there are, it's weird because there are games in the older handheld consoles that I really like, and you're gonna see it pretty high up. But the reason why I have a problem with, I think, the fact Spirit Tracks being on the DS is because they did a lot of gimmicks with it. And I did a lot of gimmicks in Phantom Hourglass too, but the gimmicks were kind of cute in Phantom Hourglass, like when you're going to close your DS to like print the map and stuff like that. But in Spirit Tracks, man, yeah, just feels a little gimmicky. And I don't like how it controls. Neither do I really like how Phantom Hourglass controls, but I think Phantom Hourglass controls better than Spirit Tracks. I don't know. Spirit Tracks, don't like it very much. And yeah, I think it's probably one of the I think worst Zelda games. It's very disappointing, but again, I wouldn't put it at F because I don't think it's like atrocious. Like, I wasn't like, god damn, was Spirit Tracks like awful. I was just kind of like, yeah, not very good. As a game, as a DS game, it's probably in the middle, maybe a below average, but as a Zelda game, yeah, it's definitely a D. Another game I'd put as a D tier would actually probably be I think Phantom Hourglass as well. I'm gonna stick in the D tier. And I know I just said, I like Phantom Hourglass much better than Spirit Tracks, but how much better. Not like 20 times better, maybe like a half, like 2% better, 5% better. I think it's a better game, but yeah, Phantom Hourglass is disappointing. Again, using the stylus to control feels I just could never really get into it. And I like in Phantom Hourglass, I like in Spirit Tracks, like the Spirit Zelda, really cool, like really good like portrayal of Zelda. But Phantom Hourglass just kind of like, it just, you have this sort of goofy sidekick, and his story is really interesting, and how he's sort of like Linebeck, and how he sort of like has like this interesting character arc, actually, like honestly, like wholeheartedly like interesting character arc, and he's a very good companion. But besides that, and that's why I think it's better than the Spirit Tracks, but I don't think it's like that much better. It's a D. It's a D. And looking at anything else I want to put in the D, I'm not actually... Oh, man. I'm not seeing one that pops out in my head. Yes, I am. Four Swords. This is a Game Boy Advance. Link to the Past, Four Swords. This is not Four Swords Adventure. This is Four Swords in the Game Boy Advance. You have Link to the Past on it, but I'm not ranking this. We have Link to the Past as a separate game, and I'm not ranking that based on Link to the Past. I'm ranking this based on the Four Swords game, which is very bland. The villain's very boring, and it just feels like it's definitely a gimmick. So does Four Swords Adventure, but it feels like a gimmick that was sort of fleshed out more. Four Swords does not feel fleshed out. It's kind of boring. There's only a couple of levels. It's a very short game, and yeah, maybe some could argue it acts as like just like a mini adventure, like a mini game. Not like a mini game, but like a shorter game. It really only takes like an hour or two to beat. But you have to work with people, and it's very hard to connect. I never really played the game with people. I think I only played it with like one other person. Yeah, it's just you know. I'm just realizing Triforce Heroes is not in here. That's weird. Why is Triforce... Whatever. I'd probably put Triforce Heroes in the D tier as well, which is why I was thinking that. Anyway, sorry. So Link to the... So yeah, Four Swords, you know. It's whatever, man. It's just boring. It's short, an hour long. Nothing interesting there. I don't really have much to say about it, which is why it's in D tier. Anything else I'd put in D tier? Yeah. Nah. No, I'm going to save that. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so now we're going to get to C tier. So C tier is, I think it's it's probably a pretty good game, but as a Zelda game, it's not, it's average, maybe a little bit. It's not quite there. It's not quite what I'm looking for, but I enjoyed it. It was all right. Would I play it again? Probably not, but it was an alright experience, and I immediately know I'm putting Majora's Mask in there, and this is going to piss a lot of people off. I know Majora's Mask is one of the highest acclaimed Zelda games. People love Majora's Mask, and I actually kind of understand why people like Majora's Mask. I think it's overall not like a terrible game. I think it's actually pretty good. My issue with the game is I cannot, for the love of God, there's two things I can't do with this game. Actually kind of three things, 2.5 things. Two of them are kind of related. So one of them, or two of them, is both the time mechanic and the save mechanic. So how it works in Majora's Mask is you have 3 days to do everything, and it's a really cool concept. It works well with the side quests, but it gets very frustrating when you want to take your time in a dungeon, or take your time exploring stuff, or take your time with anything. You're always on a time limit, and I understand that, yes, the time is an important aspect of the game. I just wish there wasn't so much of the game I wanted to do. And that is also related to the save feature, where you have to, the way you save in this game is just, you have to like go to these statues, and it's kind of a mess, because there's been so many moments where like I lose stuff because I'm not quick enough, or I don't manage my time right. And I understand like the consequence of that. You know, you have to be able to manage your time. Sure, I get where they're going with this, but it really worked for me. Also, the controls in this game on the N64 aren't very good. I especially think of this. I think of the fucking dungeon. It's the second dungeon with the Goron, where the Goron mask, and you roll around. Controlling that section is a nightmare, and then on top of that, you're timed, and you're like, I have to do this all in like 3 days, and just managing everything. Like, it's fun at first, and again, it's like some of the side quests really benefit from that, and some of the stuff you can do, which is why I'm not putting it in D or F tier. But I think genuinely this it ruins the experience for me. What I will credit it for is amazing music, amazing atmosphere, and probably one of the best stories in the Zelda series. Like, really good. And I like the tone. I like how it looks. The whole crux of the game I don't like, which is just, again, comes down to personal taste, which is why I'm putting it in C tier. I was considering putting it in D tier, but just of all the stuff that is so good about it, I had to put it in C tier. It's just a personal thing with the save mechanic that holds it back for me and keeps it in C tier. Another game I'm going to put in C tier is the Minish Cap. I think the Minish Cap is a very cute game, and I think it was made by Capcom. I believe, as the Oracle games were. I'm pretty confident in saying. I don't know if that's true. I'm pretty confident in that. I like how it looks. I like having a little the side character, the little bird, the little hat. But you know, I just am not a huge fan of this game. But again, I like sort of like Majora's Mask. I like aspects of it. I like how it looks. It controls well. It's a very simple game. Shrinking down is very fun. Like, and there's a lot of cute stuff in this game. There's some really cool moments in this game, but nothing really sticks out to me. Nothing really like stands out as like, oh, dude, that scene from the Minish Cap dog. Oh, that was even like I hate to say this. Even Skyward Sword has like that. Like that time travel part when you have that item going back in the past, and Spirit Tracks and I guess have that moment. But even Minish Cap is probably out of all these games one of the most like safest, kind of blandest. Link with a bird hat, basically. Yeah, it's the game. Yeah, it's just very, it's just kind of safe and bland, which is why it's a perfect C tier, because nothing's really offensively bad about it, but nothing is like amazingly good with it. So it's kind of just a middle of the road game. But I really have nothing else to say about it. That's how you know you're probably not looking at a good spot. Another game I'd put in C tier is probably Four Swords Adventure. I think Four Swords Adventure, sort of like Minish Cap, came out around the same time. Is a lot of Zelda games came out in the Game Boy Advance and GameCube era. I'm just realizing that, like, a lot. Like, if you think about it, like it spans from like Four Swords to like Twilight Princess. It's like most of these games actually. But anyway, sorry. So yeah, no. Zelda Four Swords Adventure. Look, I like the gimmick of it, of like, oh yeah, 4 people. I think they do it much better than they do the original Four Swords. But I don't think it's like this amazing experience. Neither do I think it's like this like incredible game. Again, villain's a little bland, better than Four Swords, and you can kind of actually explore. Like, I don't, for those who played Four Swords, you just dropped into this level and then you beat it. In Four Swords Adventure, you do have an overworld, kind of, and you are in this town, and you can go in houses together, and GameCube connects with the Game Boy Advance. The reason why I'm putting it as C is because I think it's, again, kind of like Minish Cap, nothing really incredible about it, you know, besides the main gimmick. And it's just kind of hard to play. I think I've played this game with a few people at one time, but I remember when I had this game, and I could never play with other people because no one else had... I didn't have like enough friends to play it with, which sounds sad, I know, but whatever. Not my life's sad. My point is I just don't think Four Swords Adventure is that incredible of a game. You know, besides the gimmick around it, there's really nothing more to it. Kind of like Minish Cap, a very safe game. I think Majora's Mask is like, it has a lot of good stuff that I like, but like it's drained down by the bad. But Minish Cap and Four Swords Adventure is just kind of this like safe middle ground game that I don't really think tries too much new, and which is why I'm not really like the biggest fan of it. Looking at this now, I don't think there's any other game I'd put in C tier. I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. So right now, to kind of catch everyone up, F tier we got Zelda 2, Adventure of Link, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. At D tier we have Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass, and the original Four Swords. And at C tier, we have Majora's Mask, Minish Cap, and Four Swords Adventure. So, I don't know if it matters what order this is in. I guess if this is if the left is the best and it's the worst, I'd actually probably rank it like this. I'd probably put Phantom Hourglass. Probably like. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to order it to represent. I would do like Actually, I'd probably honestly do this. Like, yeah, this right here. Yeah, actually put my buttons back here. Yeah. This is what I would do. Okay. All right. So looking at B tier, there's a lot. This is actually probably gonna be the heaviest tier. Really, there's only like gonna be 4 games that make it out of this probably that I can think of. So immediately, B tier. I'm gonna put. So should I guess I'll save my controversial pick for the end. I have a very controversial pick for B tier, and I'm sure many of you can probably expect what's going to be. I'm going to put the original... yeah, I'm going to put the original Legend of Zelda in here. And this might actually be... this isn't my controversial pick, but this might be a little controversial. The original Legend of Zelda, it's a B tier because, goddamn, it is very important, and it is incredible. Very well done. The only reason I'm a little bit B tier is the difficulty. I actually kind of enjoy the original difficulty. It's kind of hard, but it feels rewarding when you get through a part, and I like the difficulty that comes with it. It's just it hasn't aged extremely well, and this isn't looking from when the game came out. This is looking at 2019, where I think of these games. And I think in a 2019 aspect, like the original Legend of Zelda, maybe very important game to praise, and it's a B tier. This is one of the, you know what I mean? It's a B tier, you know. It's solid Zelda game, very solid, above average, but nothing that I would say would be the best thing I've ever played. Very important, and I really like it a lot. People say, "Do you like the original Zelda?" Fuck yeah, I love the original Legend of Zelda, but as a Zelda game, yeah, it's a B tier game. Maybe it's an A tier video game, but it's a B tier Zelda game. Again, I love the independence that comes with it. I just don't think it's aged very well. It's aged well. It's actually probably aged better than almost every NES game. Like Zelda has aged well. Super Mario Bros. Has aged well. Super Mario Bros. 3 has aged well. And then I would say probably like some of the Castlevania 3. One a little bit, but Castlevania 3 has aged very well. I say all those NES games have aged very well, and Zelda's among them, but still, it's limited. But I think it's very good. I think it's good. I think it's a good game. I think Legend of Zelda, original Legend of Zelda, is a very good game. B tier. Another B tier game is going to be the Oracle games. So Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. I know these are 2 different games, but they're very similar in my mind. I think I would have to say I think I like Seasons better. It's pretty close. I think I like Seasons better. So, yeah, but these games for the Game Boy Color, both really good. Both made by Capcom. Sorry, I'm texting my someone very important. So the Oracle games, yeah, they look really, really good, and I think they're very solid games. I don't think they've aged terribly. I don't think they've aged bad at all. I would look that these are all games I'd go back and play, and these 2 games are no exception. I definitely would go back and play Seasons and Ages. I've actually, if they remade these games, I'd be pretty excited because I do genuinely really like these games. Yeah, and I think Seasons and Ages, very good games, really solid games. Yeah, I really don't have much else to say about them. I think they look very good. I think the music is really, really good in them. I think they are probably the most solid Zelda game when it comes to, well, not handheld. They're one of the best. There's one other handheld game in it that I like better than this, but they're one of the best Zelda handheld games. And the fact that there's 2 of them actually, for the first time in any Nintendo history, doesn't feel like a ripoff. Like when 2 Pokemon games come out at the same time, you're like, what's the point of this? But in the case of Seasons and Ages, it does make sense. They are 2 different games, but they are connected in a big way. And you should play both of them because they're both sort of one experience. And again, if they remake like, let's say it's like a Legend of Zelda Oracles remake where it's Seasons and Ages in one package, both remade, I would fucking buy that day one and non-stop play that. So yeah, really good games. I'd probably say they're on par with original Zelda. I wouldn't say they're any better or worse. I think the original Zelda has way more weight to it. It has way more importance, but I think they're both pretty equal on my ground. I really like them a lot. And I think that may actually 1, 2, 3. So I'm thinking now. Let me think. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna put. I think I'm gonna put. Ooh, that's a hard choice. So I'm definitely putting Ocarina of Time in here. This is the one that is very controversial. Ocarina of Time is definitely going in. It's low B tier. It's low B tier. People are going to say, what? Legends of the Ocarina of Time, the best game ever made? I'm going to say, slow your roll, baby. Because there's 6 Zelda games I like more than Ocarina of Time. Listen, I enjoy Ocarina of Time for what it is. When it comes to importance, Ocarina of Time, probably besides the Legend of Zelda, original Legend of Zelda, is the most important Zelda game to ever be made. And I understand the importance of Ocarina of Time, and I think it should be applauded for that. However, I don't think the game has aged very well. I don't like the controls. God, I just don't like the Nintendo 64 controls at all. And I think that, you know, some of the dungeons are decent, but the story is just, I mean, not the gameplay's there's stuff to explore in this game, and some of it feels rewarding, and going back and forth between, you know, the present and the past is something I really enjoy. My big problem with this game, honestly, is the combat. I think the combat is pretty bad in Ocarina of Time. I really do. I think a lot of Zelda games have way better combat. I don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as something like Legend of Zelda 2 or Zelda 2 or Skyward Sword, but I think the combat is pretty rough. There are some interesting bosses, but a lot of them are just, hey, you have the item, use it on that. Hey, what you got here? Hey, use it on them. Hey, how do you beat this guy? Hey, he just walks around a little bit, and then when he comes at you, you swing. Like, it's very formulaic. It's very, you know, sort of bland, really, if I'm being honest. But I think it's very important, and God, the music is great. The title screen, maybe the best title screen in history, is so damn good. And when I see this game, I get goosebumps. I get nostalgic for it. But I gotta call it how it is. I think it's a B game. I think, don't get me wrong, it's important, and there's a lot of good stuff in it. Riding on your horse is hella fun. Teleporting, you know, between the present and the past is really, really cool. I love the final confrontation with Ganon. I like a lot about this game, but for me, the controls, the sort of, I guess, the controls and the combat really hold this game back to being an A tier. And I almost considered putting this game in C tier, but then I really thought about it, and I said, it's above average. It's above average, but I think there are 9 games better than actually Ocarina of Time. I think I like Seasons and Ages more. I like the original Legend of Zelda more. And there's 6 games that I like more. And they're all going to be in A tier except for one. And I've decided that Twilight Princess isn't quite going to make the cut. So Twilight Princess is actually going to be the very top of B tier. I think Zelda, I know people get really upset when I say this. I think Twilight Princess is better than Ocarina of Time. I know. I'm weird. One sec, sorry. So I think, yeah, I think. Look, I think Twilight Princess is perhaps one of the most underrated Zelda games, primarily because I think a lot of people really hate it or love it, and I'm in the love it boat. I love it. I can't put it at A tier though, because really thinking about it, look. Here's what I like about Twilight Princess. Quite the opposite of Ocarina of Time. And actually, all the problems I have with Ocarina of Time, I don't have with Twilight Princess. And all the problems I have with Twilight Princess, I don't have with Ocarina of Time. Like, the best elements of both games would make a really good Zelda. Would make almost a damn perfect Zelda game. I like the one when Link is a furry. Yeah, this is Link is a furry. Look, here's what I like about Twilight Princess. Number 1, Midna. Midna's incredible. I think she's the best companion in any Zelda game. Damn near perfect. Love Midna. I think the story in this is very interesting. I like Zant as a villain. When Ganondorf pops in at the end, it's a little bit like, alright. But, you know, still. I like how this game feels a little unconventional at the beginning. I like the dungeons in this game. I know some people say the dungeons aren't that very good in this game. I don't know, man. I just think of that snow dungeon. Fuck yeah, dude. Love that shit. I love that shit. Love the snow dungeon. It's one of my favorite dungeons in any Zelda game. I like a lot of the dungeons in this game. I like some of the characters. I like some of the little cute little mini games. And unlike Skyward Sword, it feels like it uses the Wii's motion controls. Gimmicky, do not get me wrong, but not terribly. And plus, you can always play this on the GameCube or the Wii U. Oh, the Wii U, which are the better versions probably than the Wii. I mean, the Wii U version is probably the best one. But yeah, I like Twilight Princess a lot. The music's really, really good. It looks really good. My big problem with it is the overworld, man. Like, I love the dungeons and I love the combat in this game, but God, and it does have the same problem with Ocarina, where like it's just like use this item and you solve everything. It's kind of a little lame on that front, but God, the overworld in Twilight Princess is so boring. The grass, listen, the grass in Ocarina of Time looks better than the grass in Twilight Princess. Like, it's just like black. Like, it's brown and ugly and green, and it's just like there's no individual blades like in you know, something like Breath of the Wild, which I don't really expect with that technology, but it's just like, even like Zelda looks more greener. Like, it's just bland and like the colors a little blah, especially with the ground. But I can look past all that because there's a lot I like in Twilight Princess. It's just that the exploration and the side quests aren't very good. They're really not. And when I look for a Zelda game, I look for a game where I have to explore. I like exploring an overworld, and there's very little of that in Twilight Princess. Most of the time, it's get to point A to point B, and any exploration in the overworld is just to talk to people or do a side quest. That's pretty lame. Like, the Agatha side quest is the only one that's even somewhat interesting. But yeah, I can't even like point to the Twilight Princess and tell you where everything is. I can tell you that, like, I remember, like, what is it, like the main town's like up north. And, like, that's about it, though. I really can't even remember anything else. Like, yeah, the overworld in this game is just very bland. You know, the main town is pretty cool. You go to a ghost town, which is really cool. Like, there's a lot of cool towns and set pieces. Don't get me wrong, but everything that connects them is really lame. Like, it's like imagine like an amusement park where, like, you have a bunch of great rides, but, like, each ride is like a mile of like nothing between each ride. Like, pretend you ride this really cool roller coaster. It's like, oh, you want to ride the next roller coaster? We're gonna walk about a mile that way, and there's no bathrooms. There's no like fun little games you can play. There's nothing in between here and the next ride. And that's what Zelda Twilight Princess feels to me. Don't get me wrong, the roller coasters are really good. I like them a lot, but in between it, there's nothing. There's no little fun little thing. There's no reason for me to do stuff between each roller coaster, between each dungeon, between each town, between each set piece. That's my big problem with Twilight Princess and why it's not quite A tier. A part of me wants to put Twilight Princess in A tier and say, fuck you all, I love Twilight Princess, underrated, but I gotta just acknowledge the fact that the overworld is just, yeah, it's a little bland for my liking. Alright, so those are the tiers so far. I'll go over all of them. Once again, we have Zelda 2 and Skyward Sword at F tier. At D tier, we have Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Four Swords. At C tier, we have The Minish Cap, Four Swords Adventure, Majora's Mask. And at B tier, which is going to probably be a lot of controversial opinions, I have Twilight Princess, The Original Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, and Ocarina of Time at B tier. Okay, so we're at A tier. And looking at A tier, honestly, I think I can safely say, oh, that's going to be hard for me. A tier, I'm thinking. So there's 5 games left. Alright, let me put what I definitely know is an A tier. Immediately, Link to the Past is an A tier. I think that Link to the Past is a great game. I think I do have some issues with it. Mainly, it does sort of suffer from like this sort of like it does suffer kind of like the same thing I was talking about Twilight Princess, where like a lot of cool set pieces, and in between there isn't amazing stuff, but there is stuff. There's some good parts in Link to the Past where you can sort of like explore the dungeons, you can do these fun side quests. But the dungeons are definitely the meat of this game. This game looks very good. This game sounds very good. This game plays very well. It's aged extremely well. I can go back and play this game and enjoy it just as much as I did back in the day. Yeah, I really like Link to the Past. I think it's probably the first amazing Zelda game. Like, I love the original Legend of Zelda, don't get me wrong. But I think Legend of Zelda Link to the Past is the first really, really good Zelda game. And yes, it established a formula that I don't like, and I know a lot of people have a problem with it, and I understand the Zelda formula, I get it. But you know, it's not, look, okay? You know, yes, I get where people are coming from with that issue, but to criticize Link to the Past for that, I think you should criticize the other games more for that than Link to the Past. Yeah. I really like Link to the Past. I think it does a good job. Really fun world to explore. It's not super linear. You can do any of the last 7 dungeons in any order that you want. Items are really cool. There's a lot of cool incentives for exploring. More so than just like, oh, you got a heart container like it's on the Twilight Princess. Like, no, you actually get items and you get other stuff you can get from exploring. So in that regard, yeah, no, Link to the Past, A tier. Another pretty confident A tier for me is Link's Awakening. I love Link's Awakening. I think this is another super underrated Zelda game. They're remaking it this year, which I couldn't be happier. This is my number one Zelda remake that I would want. The other one would be Seasons and Ages, Oracle of Seasons and Ages. But yeah, I can't be happier that we're getting a remake. I think it looks really good. I think it looks really good. And I know, like, it's originally for the Game Boy. They did put it on the Game Boy Advance and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening GX, but I think it looks or DX. I don't remember what DX or G. I don't even remember. I think it's DX, but it looks better on the Game Boy Color. But it still looks actually not terrible on Link's Awakening. And this is like a handheld Zelda game that I think still looks good to today. Baby Link, I guess. Oh, you're talking about like the remake. Yeah, well, I think this is again a standalone story, like a Phantom Hourglass, like a Majora's Mask, like the Minish Cap, like the Oracle games. It doesn't have the Four Swords games. It doesn't have this like grand epic sort of, oh my god, we need to save the world like a Twilight Princess or a Link to the Past has. But it's really just a very self-contained story on this island. And I like that. I like the characters. I like the aesthetics of this world. But most importantly, the fucking dungeons, man. Oh my god. This game may have the best dungeons of any Zelda game. Maybe. It may be Link's Awakening. You know what? I think it is. The dungeons in this game are incredible. Like, some of the most memorable dungeons. Like, like, so many moments where, like, in the side-scrolling ones, you have these, like, just incredible gimmicks, but they work so well, and they're so creative, and you actually have to do a lot of problem-solving in Link's Awakening. In the puzzles and the dungeons. I'm really hoping in the remake that they keep that. I know they're going to change some stuff, but I'm really hoping that they're not going to be like, oh, we're just going to, we're just going to, make this easier, make this simpler. Like, I really hope they keep the complexity of the dungeons in Link's Awakening, because God, do I love the dungeons in Link's Awakening. Truly, I do. I really do. And yeah, Link's Awakening, it's a really good game, very underrated. Not many people talk about it because it's on the Game Boy, because it's on the Game Boy Color. But I think this game, I think it's better than Twilight Princess. I think it's better than Ocarina of Time. I think it's better than even the original Legend of Zelda game. It's on par with me with Link to the Past. It's probably about pretty even. I think Link to the Past does a lot of things better. It looks better. It sounds better. But that's just the technology. I think the dungeons in Link's Awakening are better, but not by much. They're both pretty good. But just like the setting, I don't know. I just prefer being on the island. I just prefer it. But they're both pretty tight in my mind. They both are really, really solid games. They're A-tier games. They're both really, really good. I love Link's Awakening. And I think it's easily one of the most underrated Zelda games for sure. So those are definitely A-tier. 100%. But I have 3 games left. I know one of them is not an A-tier. But the other 2, I don't fucking know, dude. I really gotta think about it. This is where the thinking comes in. You know what? Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put... Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to put... Alright, so Wind Waker is an A tier. And I think it's actually in the front. Alright, so everyone knows... I streamed Wind Waker a couple years ago, Wind Waker HD. I love Wind Waker. I can't quite put it at S tier because it's not quite perfect. I have issues with it. Number one, the dungeons are pretty not great. They're still a little too easy. Some of the theming's really good. A little too easy. I like the characters in this game. I love the King of Red Lions. I love Tetra. I do think what they do with Tetra in the end, turning her into Zelda, is a little bit lame. But I genuinely like Wind Waker. I really do. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say you could say that. We'll see. You're gonna have to see. But yeah, no. Look, Wind Waker is a lot of problems with it. I think it is artistically one of the best artistically stylized Zelda games. I think it looks really good. All right. I think, like, you know, there's a few games that look better, but like art style wise, like the original on the GameCube, it looks so good. It is aged like fucking wine. Like when they did an HD remake and made everything brighter, I was like, really? I don't know. I think Wind Waker looks fine just how it is. Like, I think you could have just upscaled it a little bit. Like, really, I really do think it looks so good. It looks so good. The original Wind Waker, and I like exploring. And yes, I know people will say, well, you say the Twilight Princess world is so bare. What about the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker overworld? And I disagree. I think it's bare, but it's not Twilight Princess bare. There's stuff to explore. There's islands to go to. There's a lot of things that I think really work with Twilight Princess. I think Twilight Princess, not Wind Waker. And that is the exploration. Going to these islands, finding this stuff is really cool. Yes, they're blocked off by story progression, but the story progression is legitimately really good. Going to save your sister and then being like, oh shit, I gotta save the world. It's a little simple, I understand, but it works for me. It's just like a fun little story, and I do genuinely like the lore of where it's like, oh, this once was Hyrule, and then like the gods, Ganon came around, the gods like, what the fuck do we do? And they're like, just fucking flood it, and they fucking flood the fucking world, and they're like, I don't know, and it fucks up everything, and everyone's lives are fucked up, and you have to deal with the consequences of that. And people complain about sailing, and I know, like, yes, you could say, well, between, like I said with Twilight Princess, between the stuff, connecting everything is a little weak, but there's stuff there. Yes, it can be a little boring going on water for a while, but there's some mini games. You're like, what the fuck is that tower? Climb up, kill some people. What the fuck is that boat? What the fuck is that? It's like a boat, but it's a ghost. It just disappeared in front of my eyes. What the fuck's this tornado? Well, I'm in a whirlpool. I'm in all. There's stuff there. It's not incredible, and yes, I think everyone can agree. The Triforce Shards quest at the end of the game, yeah, it's kind of contrived, and to make the game longer. Yes, this game's not finished. I know, but God, I still love it, and I can't put it at S tier because I think there's flaws with it. Very clear flaws. I mean, every Zelda game has very clear flaws, but very clear flaws with this. And I can but I don't know. I can look past this, you know. I can look past a lot of the mistakes, a lot of the problems with Twilight. Fucking goddamn it, without Twilight Princess, with Wind Waker. There's a lot of things well. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. All right, so we have 2 games left, and I'm struggling a little bit, but I think I know what I have to do. So, looking at all this, at F tier, we have Skyward Sword and Zelda 2. At D tier, we have Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Four Swords. At C tier, we have Minish Cap, Four Swords of Adventure, Majora's Mask. At B tier, we have Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, and Ocarina of Time. At A tier, we have Wind Waker, Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. All right. So it's very difficult for me to place this game, and that's Link Between Worlds. But I think I've decided I am going to put Link Between Worlds in S tier, with Breath of the Wild. So this would be my entire tier list, pretty much completed. I put both of them at the same time, so I can kind of talk about both of them at the same time. So yeah, I have a lot to say about these games, but I think they're both good for completely different reasons, but also kind of the same reason. All right, so let's start with Link Between Worlds. I think Link Between Worlds, and I think Link Between Worlds is probably People say that Link to the Past is better than Link Between Worlds. But I disagree. I think Link Between Worlds is a better game than Link to the Past. And yes, I know Link Between Worlds is kind of just the same map and it's a lot of the same stuff put in the 3DS. But it's not a remake. It's a whole original game. Just the number one thing I'd say about Link Between Worlds is the gimmick of being able to go against the wall is a much better gimmick than just going into the Dark World. Like, that's the whole gimmick of Link to the Past. You go in the Dark World, which is fine. But Link Between Worlds, you have both the light and the Dark World, but you also have the fucking... You have the flatten on the wall thing. A lot of great puzzles. I think it makes the final boss really good. Yeah, the dungeons in this game. Look, the dungeons in Link Between Worlds. I think I said Link's Awakening has the best dungeons, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. But I think Link Between Worlds is close to it. Maybe number 2 or 3. I don't know. Dungeons really good in Link Between Worlds, and exploring a great overworld. You know, a lot of cool side quests like finding those little stupid fucking thingamajiggies, going to all these different worlds. But then, dude, the item system in this game, that's why it's S tier. The item system in this game is incredible. Like in other Zelda games, you go to a dungeon, you get an item, you have it for the rest of the game. That's not the case with Link Between Worlds. This fucking weird-ass dude comes in your fucking house and goes, "This house is now my store, motherfucker. I have some items. You can either rent them or buy them. But buying them is really expensive. But renting them is cheaper. Oh, but if you die with them, you lose the items and have to come back and buy them." Incredible mechanic. And what makes what it does off the bat is it makes money worth it. This is probably the best Zelda economy. This is like one of the only Zelda games where like rupees have a very clear intrinsic value. Like collecting rupees is like, oh, I have to collect these rupees, so if I die, I can buy all my shit back. Also, so I can buy these items so that I can actually keep them. Like money has a very clear value, but this game's not oversaturated with money. All the other Zelda games, a lot of Zelda games are oversaturated with money everywhere. Money here, money there, money now. I need my money please. But this game does a very good job of saying, hey, here is items. You can rent them if you want, or you don't have to. Really good. I like it a lot. I like how that system works. And again, it makes money worth stuff. And yeah, obviously a twist at the end of who the person in your house is and who, I guess, the other princess is, like with the other princess. So you go to this low rule and there's a princess there, and the whole twist with her is done very well, I think. But yeah, like I just think of the dungeons, like the thief dungeon, where you go in that dungeon with the thief and you have the little thief there, and he's like, "Hey, bitch, I'm gonna steal some shit. Want to come with me?" And you're hanging out with them, and it's fun. Or that level where you have the sand rod. Yo, the sand rod is one of the best items in any Zelda game, where you lift up the sand and merge against it. And you have that boss like the sandfish. Or that boss, very simple, where he has the shield and you merge onto the shield. He's like, "Where do you go?" When you pop out behind him and hit him from behind. That boss may not be the hardest boss or the best boss in any Zelda game, but it's creative. And that's what I'd say about the game. Very creative, very well done. I love the side quests. I love the overworld. I love a lot about it. And honestly, it is my second favorite Zelda game. And it's pretty close to the first one. It's not like... It's number 2, but it's not... It gets second... Alright. If... It's like... not far behind, alright? Like, I think there's not really much holding it back. It's just the other ones, the novelty of it accelerates it for me. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Link Between Worlds, yeah, again, it is sort of not a rehashing, but a reimagined Link to the Past. I think it's done better than Link to the Past, but it is sort of held back by that a little bit. But the overworld is still interesting to explore, and there's still a lot of new stuff there. A lot of really cool stuff. So I enjoy that. And then the obvious number 1 S tier, other S tier game is, which I think is number 1, is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Look, I have a lot of issues with Breath of the Wild. I think the dungeons are pretty bland. I think the enemy types could be varied more. And I think, quite frankly, the story is not as bad. But I don't think any of that matters. Like, I genuinely think none of that matters, especially the story stuff, because in exchange for it, what you get is you create your own story. You really create your own game. It's your own adventure. if someone said, hey, I'm going to play Link to the Past and play it with me, like you play Link to the Past and I'll play Link to the Past, we'll have the same experience. Sure, maybe I'll get more items, maybe I'll go places here and there, but genuinely, we have the same experience. But if you say, hey, I'm going to play Breath of the Wild, you play Breath of the Wild, it is statistically impossible to have any even close of the same experience. I've talked to people who have said, oh yeah, what I did was, I went to, I completed the Great Plateau, I got the 4 items, as you always get. That's the same. That's pretty much always the same. And then I went to the overworld, I went to Kakariko, I did a bunch of stuff. And then I've heard people say, Kakariko? Yeah, I never went to Kakariko. I never even went there. Like, the whole game, I kind of avoided it. Like, I just did all this other stuff, and then I began it eventually. Like, this game, never have I played a game before where I have been so distracted by it. Like, never have I been like, I'm going to go here. And there's, trust me, there are plenty of games, like plenty of RPGs, where like, I'm going to go here, and then while going there, I do a million other things and never even get there. But Breath of the Wild is, I'm going to go to, let's say, I don't know, I'm going to go to like I don't know, like Gerudo Desert. I'm going to go to Gerudo Desert, right? And then like 5 hours later, you're in, you're at like, I don't know where you'd be. I don't know. There's so many guys. Hatsune Village, whatever it's called. You're there instead. And you're just like, oh, I never even went to Gerudo Desert. Like, I was going to go there, but I ended up all the way over here instead. Or I end up all the way in this area, that area. I fought a Lionel, and then I got fucked up, and then I did this and that, and then I need to cook, and then I need to... But what I think Breath of the Wild does so well is it isn't this, like... It is like a... it is about the world. The world is the main character in this game, and you do have to survive. But it doesn't have those annoying, unnecessary, like, survival tropes. So, like, I played Red Dead Redemption, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta wear these clothes, and I gotta cook right, and I gotta do all this unnecessary shit to survive. But Breath of the Wild, you do have to cook, and you do need to wear the right clothes, and you do need to have the right weapons. You do need to manage stuff, but it's never at the point where it's overbearing. It's never at the point where it's like, oh, this is too realistic. Like, it's perfect. Like, cooking, get some ingredients, pop it in. Did it work? Nope. Did it work? Nope. Oh shit, I just made an awesome food. Also, it now makes me, work better in the cold, or work better in this, or I can now have more stamina. Yeah, and you can kind of like mix and match and create your own recipes without having to look up a guide. Never am I like, what? How do I make the best food? Why would you do that? Just push some shit in there, and whatever you get, and you learn. Same thing with the weapons. You learn. With all this stuff, you learn. Stuff has durability. Stuff disappears, like the weapons. I like that. Stuff has meaning. There's so much meaning in this game, and it feels so good. It doesn't feel like it's there for realism, and you have to survive because that's what we want to make this feel as realistic as possible. Like you're actually living there. No, it's because it makes you want to feel like you have to explore this world, and there's benefits to it, and it keeps you going. You play this game, and 3 hours later, you're not going to have the same equipment. You might have some of the same clothes, but a lot of stuff is going to be gone. A lot of your stuff is going to break. A lot of your stuff you're going to eat. It's going to be gone. Even the horse you may have had might fall off a cliff. You're going to have to get a new horse. Point is, the game's you moved on. 3 hours later, you have a whole different stuff because you kept playing and you kept progressing. That's the progression of this game. And you can play this game as fast or as slow as you can. And then you get to the shrines, which I think are such a genius way of replacing the dungeons in this game. Just and again makes the world and the Korok seeds too. Makes like there's always something there. There's always something there. And I heard a lot of people saying, like, collecting all the Korok seeds, man, that sucks. But you never meant to collect all of them. Just like I don't think you really ever meant to do all the shrines. You can go right ahead. That's what's great about this game. You can do that and have, I'm sure, a fun time doing it. But that's not what the point of it is. The point of it is for there always to be something. You'll never walk more than 2 minutes in the game without finding something. There's always something near you. Some of it's copy and paste, I understand that, but there's always something near you. And yeah, I think the shrines can get a little bit repetitive. Sometimes, like the style of them, like the aesthetic, like style, and like the insides all look the same. And sometimes that can be a little bit like, it's a little bland and boring. Then you go in the dungeons, which I have a lot of problems with. They all look the same. It's like, and that gets a little boring after a while. But again, the puzzles are really good. How you find them, what you do in them. It takes a while for them to get old, Again, the dungeons I have a lot of problems with. I like Hyrule Castle for the most part. That's one where like you could just go to the Ganon, but you could explore that a lot and find some cool stuff like a journal, and you can find some cool lore stuff and find some information, and you can see some memories, and there's some cool stuff in there, some cool weapons you can get. But you know, all the other dungeons just feel a little bit lame. They're actually like they don't actually involve any exploration, unlike the Hyrule Castle. Like there's no dungeon in that game where it's like, I wish there was dungeons in that game where it had a lot of, not like, what's the word? Not the opposite of mandatory. Optional. The optional content. There's no optional content in any of the dungeons. Like, it's all just, you do this and you get through it. Right? There's no, like, optional stuff. Like, optional rooms and all this. There's some optional chests, but that's not enough for me. Unlike there is in the castle, yeah. Like Mikey said, I also love the atmosphere of the castle. But yeah, Breath of the Wild does so much right, and even the gripes that I have, like the dungeons and the story and all this stuff, they're so little in comparison of what this focuses on, which is the overworld, the wild. God damn it, do I love Breath of the Wild? And I kind of just want to play it right now, but I know I can't, because my day would be gone. My day would be gone. So that's my final tier list. I'll go through it one more time. At F tier, we have The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. In D tier, we have Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Four Swords. In C tier, we have The Minish Cap, Four Swords Adventure, Majora's Mask. B tier, we have Twilight Princess, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, and Ocarina of Time. A tier, we have Wind Waker, Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. And S tier, which I think are the big boys, we have Breath of the Wild and A Link Between Worlds. I actually did stream Breath of the Wild when it first came out a while ago, so I did stream that. Very fun. I like it a lot. But yeah, you know, that's it. That's it. Those are, I think, the best and the worst Zelda games. Let me know some other tier ideas. This was kind of it's kind of like a trendy thing that I've actually kind of enjoyed, because some people are just like, what's the best, like, you know, I don't know, the best Leaf, and I'm like, all right, that's fine, I guess. But like, kind of like critically examining these games, and I'm less concerned with what made B tier and what made C tier, and more of like what I think of these games. And looking at them all, like, the trend is pretty clear. Like, you look at F, it is actually a pattern, pretty much. Like, you have S tier and F tier, you have 2, and then it's 3, and then it's kind of 4 and 3. I guess if I moved one of them down the C, it'd be perfectly even. But I think you know, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. I think there's 10 Zelda games that are all above average video games. And that's, for a series, it's pretty damn good. It's probably why it's my favorite video game series. Like, that's really good. Like, 10 games are above average. Like, and then you have like a couple ones that are alright, and then a couple ones that are, you know, not so great, and then you have Skyward Sword. But look, huge fan of the Zelda series. This is probably why I would rank these. I would probably go to the Mario series, but there's so many games. Tier list of 3D Mario games. How many? There's only like 4 though, right? Because there's 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2, I guess 3D World, and Odyssey, so 6. Just not enough, right? I mean, there's 6 things. I'd probably honestly, I'd put none of them in F tier. I'd probably honestly put none of them in D tier. Maybe one of them. No. It'd be close, but no. All of them would be C, B, A, and S. So, you know, that wouldn't be. I could do all Mario games. I don't know. What else is there? I mean, I'll do the tier list right now if you guys want. If you guys can think of one that's really good, I'll do it. I mean, I guess I could look up Mario and see what we get. Let's see. Oh shit, I'm gonna hide this really quick. I'm just gonna put this. Yeah, I could just do Mario games in general, if you want me to. Yeah, I'll just look on Mario. Mario characters, Mario Kart. Let's see. Yeah, I have this that I could do. Yeah, fuck it. We down to do it? We down to do a Mario list? I'm down to do a Mario list. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do this shit. Let's put on some fucking Mario music, baby. No, I don't want the Jackbox fucking party pack. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Alright. Nope, fucking stupid fucking advertisements. Yeah, fuck it. Let's get this fucking going. Alright, let's get the fucking jams on. Let's go. Let's get going. All right. So I guess I'm doing a Mario list now. I'm getting this organized really quick. Okay. I'm actually gonna rename this because I don't like how this is named. I'm gonna rename this. So give me a sec, guys. We'll just do the same thing. We'll do S. Okay. This should be good. Okay, there we go. Yep. Let me just get this a little bit. I want to get this resized just right. One sec, guys. It's going to be a little bit messier because I didn't really prepare, but it's okay. Okay. Oh, it's a banger, huh? Turn on the music just a little tiny bit for you guys. Alright. Let's get this going. So we have a lot here. This is a lot more. And I'm looking through this, actually going to see what I played and what I haven't played. So games, so let's see. Galaxy 2 I've completed. Mario 3 I've completed. Odyssey I've completed. Mario World, Galaxy, 3D World, Mario Bros. Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Land I've all completed. New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Wii U I all completed. New Super Mario Bros. 2 I completed. 3D Land I completed. Super Mario Land 2, the Go Coins I completed. Yep. Sunshine I completed. 64 I completed, and Super Mario Bros. 2. So all these games, yeah, unlike with Zelda, all these games I've beat. Yeah. So looking at this is a little bit different, obviously, than Zelda. How I judge these. Some of these games I really like. Some of these games I don't like. Which ones are they? Let me. So let's start organizing this. F tier. These are Mario games I don't really like. There's actually probably a few that go in here. So let me look at this really quick. Immediate F tiers. Yeah. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Immediate F tier. This is probably my least favorite Mario game. Yoshi's Island's not here. Why is Yoshi Island's not here? We have Yoshi Island music playing, but we don't have Yoshi Island fucking goddamn Mario game. That is unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I don't really like New Super Mario Bros. Wii that much. Not only do I think it's one of the easiest. I mean, not that any Mario game is that difficult, but this one is. It's like insultingly easy. And the multiplayer just kind of isn't good, and you get in each other's way, and just a very bland game. It doesn't look very good. It's sort of uninspiring. Yeah, I don't like New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Out of all the New Super Mario Brothers, it's my least favorite. I don't like the New Super Mario Brothers series as a whole to begin with. So that's how I feel. Not really a huge fan of it. But to really put anything else in F tier, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for me to say immediate F tier. I don't know if I have one, honestly. Looking at all these games, none of them, no other one is F tier, really. But D tier, yeah, you got all the rest of the New Super Mario Brothers, for sure. They're all their own sort of blandness. They're not really that interesting. I will say the big difference is they all have something going for them besides New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I think Wii U is also very bland, like Wii, but while the multiplayer is still as annoying, it has some other gimmicks. It looks a little better, and it doesn't feel as bland. It's pretty bland, but I like how the whole world is connected. That's a really cool thing about it. So I'll give it that. New Super Mario Bros. 2, kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing as Wii. Where again, pretty bland, but I will give it the fact that it has the coin gimmicks. I like that. That's about it, though. Really, it's very unmemorable, but I'll give it that it has something over Wii. And then the original New Super Mario Brothers. The only reason why it's not an F tier is because it was cool when it came out. It was like, hey, this is cool. This is a cute little game on the Nintendo DS. It's not like super insultingly bad. But God, it hasn't aged well. And the game, you can beat it in like an hour and a half. Like, it's really short. But you could also beat the original Super Mario Brothers really quick too. So it's fine. I'll excuse it because it's first. I'm not gonna rank it so low. But other D tier games besides the new Super Mario Brothers series, No. That's really it. Yeah. Pretty much D and F for the new Super Mario Bros. Series. Yeah. C tier. You got a lot of C tier. Number 1, 3D World is absolutely a C tier game. I have a lot of problems with 3D World. I think it's a very bland game. But the level design is really good. It has a really simple design of introduce concept in a safe environment, introduce concept in a dangerous environment. It's very simplistic, and you can sort of see it coming in every level, but it works. It works. The multiplayer is way better than any of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but not much better. Also, my big gripe with this game is that this was the big 3D game when it came out. Yeah. It's not. It's not really a 3D game. This game is. I know a lot of people consider it 3D, and for me to say, I just think Super Mario 3D World, despite 3D being in the name, has way more elements of a 2D Mario game than the 3D Mario game. For me, New Super Mario 3D World, or Super Mario 3D World rather, without the new, is a C tier game. It's not awful. It's not the worst thing I've ever played, but it's pretty bland. It has some very high moments, but it's not. Never am I like, yes, Super Mario 3D World, yes, the pinnacle of Mario games. Like, nope, not really. Other C tier Mario games, I'm gonna put the original Super Mario Land in there on the Game Boy. It has, it tried, all right, it tried, and I don't think it's terrible. I think it's actually a lot of fun, but it doesn't quite have the oomph that other Mario games have. There's something missing from it. And I think it's just the fact that it's a Game Boy game. It's the first Mario game outside of the original 3 that are not on the NES. Like, it kind of was like, oh, it's on the Game Boy now. Let's try this out. Yeah, Super Mario Land, I think 3D World is a better game than Super Mario Land. And I just think Super Mario Land a little bland, a little uninteresting. I have problems with it. I think I'm also... What else am I going to put in this? Yeah, I think I'm going to put... this is hard. This is very difficult. I haven't thought about this. I'm going to put... Oh, man. I'm going to put Super Mario Brothers 2 in here. I know it's the best game ever made. Game of the Year 5 years in a row. But, yeah, I have a lot of problems. I actually will put it above 3D World, though. I'll put it at, like, the top of the thing. There's some cool parts in Super Mario Brothers 2. But it's basically just, like, Doki Doki Panic remade. I think Lost Levels, or the original Super Mario Brothers 2 is better designed, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. It just feels very weird. A lot of problems with it. It's a little clunky. It doesn't feel as smooth as other Mario games. It's unique. I'll sure as hell give it that, but that only gets it so many points, I suppose. When it comes to B tier, oh no, sorry, we're still in C tier. Yeah, with C tier, I think I'm gonna put 3D Land in there as well. I think I'll put it above Super Mario Land, but I think I'm gonna put it under 3D World. I think a lot of people say 3D Land they really like a lot. I actually didn't really love 3D Land. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really have like an amazing experience with 3D Land. I just kind of played it, and it was all right. It was okay. It's a C tier game. It's average. I really have nothing else to say about that. So remember, there's the Lost Levels. Ooh, that's tough. Is that C tier or B tier? It's one of the two. You know what? I'm gonna say it's B tier. Yep, I think Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. Again, it's Super Mario Brothers 2 is probably actually more unique because The Lost Levels is basically just like Super Mario Brothers again. But they're good. Yeah, very well designed, very tough, very challenging, very, very sort of ass kicking, and I kind of like that. Again, not super unique, but I just think the design and the challenge of it is what I really like from it. I really like it. I think it's a very solid Mario game, and so is the original Mario Brothers, which I would put at B tier. Yeah, a solid game, beginning to end, really good level design, really fun to play. Obviously, it's one of the most important games ever made. It probably is the most important video game ever made. But, yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's probably better than Lost Levels, but they're pretty close. I like both of them a lot. They both feel like one and the same to me. And I think that's why I'm going to put them at B tier. Other B tier Mario games probably is going to include Super Mario Land 2. I think Super Mario Land 2 is pretty decent. I don't think it's as good as the original Mario or the Lost Levels, but it's pretty cool. I remember the space level. I really like that one. There's other moments in this game I like Wario as the villain. That's pretty neat. It kind of feels like its own little adventure. I like that. Level design wise, it's way better than Super Mario Land, and I think it's even better than 3D World and such when it comes to what I like about it. But I don't think it's incredible. Okay, I think it's good. I think it's above average. I think it's a really good Mario game. And I don't think about it much, but when I do think about it, I think nothing but positive. And I think about the fact that it's a pretty short game, but it really packs the punch much better than Mario Land does. I also don't know why there's 2 Super Mario Brothers 2 here. I don't understand that. I guess I don't understand that. Why is that a thing? Okay, I don't know why. Okay. Land 2 brought us Wario. I did, yeah. And besides the fact, just from a level design perspective, it's pretty damn good. I think I'm also going to put Mario Sunshine in this mix. I'm probably going to put Mario Sunshine above Super Mario Land 2, but that's about it. Super Mario Sunshine is one of the weirdest Mario games. It's also vastly not finished. It's not finished. It's not a finished game. Super Mario Sunshine is pretty well known for not being finished. And yeah, you know, I have a lot of problems with Sunshine. I think it's more so than the creepy voice acting and the terrible final boss. It's just not finished. But some of the levels are really good. Some of them are frustratingly hard. And yes, I know Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, or the original Super Mario Brothers 2, is frustratingly hard at times. But it feels fair. There are moments in Super Mario Sunshine where you're just like, how the fuck did I die? Like, what's this, like, oh my god, like the pachinko level, or oh god, there's so many, like a lot of like the slide levels. And I like the moments where they take FLUDD away from you, and some of those are the best moments. And also the level with like the hotel and you have to stop it from the manta ray. I love that level. That's a really solid level. But the overworld, I don't like how they really use Yoshi in this game, and the overworld is a little bit barren. But despite it being, I think, objectively the weirdest Mario game, I think we can all agree that Super Mario Sunshine is probably the weirdest Mario game. It is probably, it's one of my least lesser favorite 3D Mario games, but I like it. It's a B tier game. I think it's above average, but there's a lot holding it down, but there's also a lot bringing it up. So Sunshine for me is a B, and I think yes, it's unfinished, but especially for the time, very solid. And I'm not a huge fan of the FLUDD mechanic, which would make me be like, why are you putting it at B tier? You have all these complaints, but yes, I have problems with it, and I actually probably have more problems with it than I do something like 3D World. But something I can say about Sunshine that I can't say about 3D World is it's unique. There's stuff in it that sticks out. It has, fun elements of it. There are things I actually remember about it. Maybe it's not as cleanly fresh and cleanly orchestrated, but it's damn good. Another game I'd put in the B tier, and this is going to make a lot of controversy. People get very upset at me, but is going to be Super Mario 64. So I listen. I understand that Super Mario 64 is known as one of the most important video games to ever exist with Super Mario Brothers. I understand that. But my big problem with Super Mario 64 is it just has not aged well. And yes, it has like incredible movement mechanics. Yes, the designs are really well done. But I can never... And I like the castle. There's a lot of elements I love. I love how open it is. I love how you can do a lot of levels in really any order you want. Yet I enjoy the fact that that there's so much to it. There's so much to, each level and each world, and it's so well done. But the controls don't feel good. Haven't aged well. The camera hasn't aged well. Some of the difficulty, like Super Mario Sunshine, like the carpet level, so unnecessarily frustrating. And yeah, it's cool that you can explore the castle, but this game's open, but it is limited. And I don't know, it's a little... I like the difficulty, don't get me wrong, at some points, but at other points, it's just the difficulty is frustrating, and it doesn't feel justified, and it just kind of feels like it's all over the place, and... Yeah, I have a lot of problems with Super Mario 64. That's it. Alright, so what else is in B tier? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's B tier games. I don't know why there's two Super Mario Bros. 2 here. Also, I want to try something. Might fuck things up. Uh-oh. Whoops, it's okay. We can fix that. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. Okay. So now we have, obviously, 2 tiers left, A tier and S tier. We have 6 games left, which is one more than we have. Oh, no, we have 5 games left, which is actually the exact same. This, actually, tier list is looking very similar to the Zelda one. Okay, yeah. It looks a little similar, I'll give it that. But, yeah, no, I have some problems with some of these games, especially at the bottom, but it's a little more consistent than Zelda, actually. Mario's a little more consistent, probably because there's not as much to it. And again, these aren't... I'm not saying that, for me, Super Mario Sun... or some of these games are like B-tier game levels. These are B-tier in terms of Mario, but they're also sort of equivalent. I guess I would give Super Mario 64 a B if I had to grade it. Alright, doesn't matter. We're at A tier now. We have some games here. Number 1, Mario Odyssey is an A tier game. Very good. Yeah, I love Mario Odyssey. I love the big problems I have with 64 and Sunshine. It doesn't feel like it's open enough and constricted. Mario Odyssey, kind of like Breath of the Wild, feels like a really fresh start, and it feels yes, Zelda Breath of the Wild feels as expansive as the original Zelda. Super Mario Odyssey feels 20 times more expansive than Mario 64. You can go to all these different worlds. You can just get a few moons and never go back. You can go there and spend 6 hours in one world and spend like 10 in another if you really want. Like, the freedom is absolutely there. The capture mechanic is super interesting, way more interesting than the flood mechanic. Yeah, I love Mario Odyssey. It is one of the best Mario games for sure. It's one of the better 3D Mario games. It's really good, and I really enjoyed the capture mechanic. Big problems with the game: difficulty. You know, like I said with the new Super Mario Brothers series, it's very easy, and that's fine. Look, that's fine. But the only challenging moment in the entire game is the post-game content, which is fine. I'm cool with the Mario game being very easy and the post-game content being the difficulty part. That's kind of the case with, you know, some of the other 3D Mario games that we'll get to. But my big problem with this is the post-game content in Super Mario Odyssey, besides the part where you go back to the castle from 64, which even then is limited. Besides that, it sucks. Like, the post-game content in Mario Odyssey is pretty terrible. Like, the dark side and darkest side of the moon are just like the boss rush and then a difficult level. It's lame. And the only time I've ever been challenged in this whole game, really, like, where I was like, this is hard, was some of the moons where you have to go out of your way to get them. Like, post-game moons can be a little difficult, but the darker side of the moon is the only part where I went, wow, this is actually kind of challenging. You know what I mean? Like, I breezed through this game, and I tried to take my time with it. I remember, like, and there are some kingdoms that I really like the Seaside Kingdom. I remember I spent like 4 hours in that kingdom when I got to it. But then a kingdom like the Lake Kingdom or the Luncheon Kingdom, like, there wasn't much there, and I spent as much time as I could, but then I'm like, there's something else here. Especially Lakeside. But Luncheon Kingdom, I have a lot of problems with the design. But yeah, you know, I enjoy Super Mario Odyssey quite a bit. The capture mechanic is definitely the best part of this game. There's some amazing capture mechanics to this game. And I enjoy it quite a bit. So, you know, I'll give it to that. Super Mario Odyssey, A tier. Another A tier game is going to be Super Mario Bros. 3. I actually will put it above Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Bros. 3 is so solid. This is probably the best aging NES game, as I was talking about when I was talking about Legend of Zelda. Like, this game has aged so well. And some of you may be surprised this is not S tier. I know Super Mario Bros. 3 is considered amongst a lot of people the best Mario game ever made. And it's up there for me. It's close to S tier. It's not quite S tier. Probably because, yes, it has aged very well, but at the end of the day, it still is an NES game, and it's still somewhat limited by that. Yes, the worlds are incredible. Like, the overworld map is so well done, and it really feels like a really connected worldly adventure. So I'll give Super Mario Bros. 3 that. But, you know, outside of that, the level design is really good, and the power-ups are really good, but for some reason, the only really problem I have with this game is that there's a lot of power-ups, there's a lot of stuff there, and they're only used once, or they're only rarely used. You know what I mean? Yes, there's that world where it's like everything's big, and that's really cool. But then there's like, the boot, which is a really cool item, not really appears that much, or the hammer item, which it just appears here and there. Like, a lot of these things are novel. They're very, like, a lot of novelties. Like, getting these power-ups actually means something because they're not around that long. But also, they mean something, but also, they're not really there. So, they're not really ever used to their full potential in the level design. So, that's sort of my biggest gripe with Super Mario Bros. 3. But, besides that, I enjoy it. Alright, Let's do a little bit of recap. In F tier, we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. That's it. In D tier, we have New Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros. 2, and New Super Mario Bros. New Super Mario Bros. U. Okay. In C tier, we have Super Mario Bros. 2, which is for some reason duplicated. I don't know why. Whoever created this tier list. Yeah, fucked up, kiddo. Super Mario 3D World is also C tier, as is 3D Land and Super Mario Land. B tier is Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Land 2. And then A tier is Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario Odyssey. So pretty solid. So S tier, immediately we have Super Mario World. I think Super Mario World is the best 2D Mario game. And yes, I think all the problems I have with Mario 3 are not in Mario World. First of all, it does feel like a world. It's because it is one whole world. The difficulty's there. Same sort of difficulty as Mario 3. And the power-ups, there are less power-ups in Super Mario World, which at first may seem like a downgrade. However, they're used much more. The cape and Yoshi and all the other power-ups are novelties because they're not super present, and they are harder to find, but when they're there, they're worth something. But they aren't just like in a couple of levels or very, very hard to find. I love Super Mario World. I think it's a great final boss, great overall game, like really. And that's another thing is Super Mario Bros. 3 doesn't have great bosses. The final boss is pretty decent, but the other bosses in Mario 3 are pretty lame. Mario World is kind of the same deal, but I think they're slightly better. And the level variation, you got the ghost worlds, you got the levels by the water, you got the ones in the caves, you got the ones out in the plains. Yeah, Super Mario World, easy S tier Mario game, one of the best ones, and so is Galaxy 2. I love Galaxy 2 quite a bit. It is probably the best constructed Mario game. It's a little bit more linear as a 3D Mario game, but like it is so well done. Like it is constructed so well. Post-game content is incredible. Some really cool post-game content in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Really like it a lot. Probably my favorite post-game content of any Mario game. You have the final level, which is very difficult. Big problem with Super Mario Galaxy 2 is the overworld. There really isn't one. And that's an issue for me. This would be my favorite Mario game if the overworld was interesting, but it's not. It's a giant floating head, and then you go to the control panel, and it's a 2D map. That's really lame. But the level design is just so good. It's just so damn good that I can't possibly knock it for that. I can't. It's just the level design of this game is the galaxies, the post-game content is all so good that yes, it disappoints me when that happens, when the overworld is so lame, but kind of makes up for it, kind of. I care more about the overworld in a Zelda game than I do a Mario game, but in a 3D Mario game, I do care about the overworld. And in Super Mario Odyssey, the levels are the overworlds, which is really cool. Galaxy 2, you're missing that, but I think it has much sharper level design, much clearer vision. And I think it's just an overall one of the best Mario games. However, Super Mario Galaxy, very controversial opinion, better than Super Mario Galaxy 2, and here's why. Yes, I think Super Mario Galaxy 2 is overall a little bit more refined, but not much more refined than Mario Galaxy. And yes, I'm not saying the overall of Mario Galaxy is as good as one in like 64 or Sunshine or Odyssey, but it's still pretty interesting going around that space, talking to Rosalina, checking all this stuff out. And you're not stuck in that overworld. You go here and there to get to the levels, which may seem less efficient, but in Galaxy 2, it's just a very clear path. In Galaxy, much more open, much more wide. I love the fucking music in Mario Galaxy. I love the atmosphere. And when it comes to spectacle, it really feels like an adventure. It really feels like an adventure. So, yeah, man, Super Mario Galaxy. Well, I'm sure this surprises no one. By far my favorite. I really can't go in depth to these Mario games as much as I can the Zelda games, but I don't know. Hopefully that helps somewhat. Here are my results. F tier, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. D tier, New Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros. 2, and New Super Mario Bros. U. C tier, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario 3D Land, and Super Mario Land. B tier, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Land 2. A tier is Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Odyssey, and S tier is Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and Super Mario World. Let me know what you think about my 2 tiers of Zelda and Mario games. Tell me how wrong I am, tell me how right I am, or tell me neither. I don't really care. That's what I think. That's how I feel. And I just want to play Mario Galaxy and Breath of the Wild right now. That's what I'm going to go do. More tier lists to come? I don't know. Maybe if I'm bored. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for talking. Twitch, YouTube. Till next time. Bye-bye.